Have you ever met a woman whose presence feels different, quiet yet powerful, grounded yet somehow otherworldly? She may not seek attention, yet when she enters a room, something shifts. There's a depth in her eyes, a calm in her voice, and a wisdom in her silence that seems to come from somewhere beyond this lifetime. Carl Jung might have called her an old soul, someone who carries within her the wisdom of countless inner journeys, the memory of humanity's collective experience, and a consciousness that feels ancient in a modern world. In today's fast-paced, achievement-driven culture, such women often appear out of place. They seem to live by different values, guided not by external approval or material success, but by an invisible inner compass. This essay explores the 12 signs that define women with old souls, how they think, feel, and move through the world with quiet depth and unshakable purpose. Each sign reveals a facet of her spiritual nature and explains why she often feels like a stranger in her own time. 1. A deep hunger that material comfort cannot satisfy. From a young age, the old soul woman feels a restless longing that no material comfort can ease. While others pursue careers, status, or possessions, she is haunted by a deeper question. What does this all mean? This isn't idle curiosity. It's a need as essential as breathing. Her search for meaning drives her beyond the ordinary paths of success into realms of philosophy, spirituality, and depth psychology. Carl Jung's idea of individuation, the process of becoming your true self beyond societal expectations, resonates deeply with her. She reads Jung not for theory, but for recognition. His words mirror what she has already lived internally. Her life becomes a spiritual quest, a constant unfolding toward authenticity, even when that journey isolates her from others who don't understand her hunger for depth. 2. Feeling homesick for places never visited. The old soul woman often feels a strange emotional connection to certain places, cultures, or historical eras she's never experienced. Standing before ancient ruins, hearing a foreign melody, or touching a handmade artifact can move her to tears. It's as if she remembers something from before this life. These sensations are not necessarily past life memories, but what Jung would call archetypal resonances. Her soul recognizes patterns that belong to humanity's collective memory. This familiarity gives her both comfort and melancholy, a reminder that she belongs to something vast and timeless, even if she feels out of place in her present world. 3. Compassion that flows naturally. To the old soul woman, compassion isn't an act of virtue. It's a natural expression of who she is. When she sees someone suffer, she doesn't feel detached sympathy. She feels their pain as if it were her own. This deep empathy can be both a blessing and a burden. Her sensitivity allows her to connect profoundly with others, but it also means she can't easily ignore suffering. She feels the world's wounds, the loneliness, the injustice, the fear that others hide behind distractions. Yet her compassion is not pity. It's an unspoken recognition that we are all parts of the same whole, reflections of one shared consciousness. 4. Unshakable inner calm. Despite her sensitivity, the old soul woman has a calm center that few can match. In chaos or crisis, she becomes a quiet pillar of stability. She doesn't panic because deep inside, she knows that every storm eventually passes. This calm is not detachment. It's the wisdom born of experience. She has lived through enough emotional and spiritual storms to understand that all things are temporary. Jung called this capacity the transcendent function, the ability to hold opposing truths without being torn apart by them. Her inner calm makes her a source of comfort for others, even when she speaks no words at all. 5. A vision ahead of her time. Another defining trait of the old soul woman is her ability to sense patterns and cultural changes long before others do. Jung believed that certain individuals are attuned to the collective unconscious, the deep psychological field from which societal shifts first emerge. She feels these undercurrents as intuitions, dreams, or creative impulses. When she speaks about what she senses, people may dismiss her as too intense or too idealistic. Years later, when her insights become mainstream, no one remembers she saw it first. This foresight can make her lonely, but she learns to trust her vision anyway. Being ahead of her time often means walking alone, yet she accepts this solitude as part of her purpose. 6. The need for solitude. For the old soul woman, solitude isn't isolation, it's nourishment. While many fear being alone, she treasures it as sacred space. In solitude, she reconnects with her inner world, listens to her intuition, and restores her energy. Modern life, fast-paced, noisy, and superficial, drains her. She often feels like she belongs to a slower, quieter era. Her time alone is not a withdrawal from life, but a return to her true essence. She understands that loneliness and solitude are not the same. Loneliness is emptiness. Solitude is fullness. Through silence, she integrates her experiences and remembers who she really is. 7th, detachment from materialism. Material possessions hold little meaning for her. The old soul woman sees the futility in accumulating what cannot last. This detachment doesn't come from moral superiority but from experience. She has tasted success, comfort, and recognition, and found them hollow. For her, true richness lies in simplicity. She values sunsets, music, deep conversations, and creativity over luxury. Jung suggested that the mature soul naturally releases the illusion that happiness can be bought. She understands that everything external is temporary, while the treasures of the soul, kindness, wisdom, love, endure beyond this lifetime. 8. Connection with children and elders. Children and elders often feel naturally drawn to her. With children, she recognizes purity, the uncorrupted essence of the soul before society imposes its mass. With elders, she recognizes wisdom, the peaceful return to that same essence. Children feel safe around her because she sees them as equals, not as incomplete beings. Elders sense her respect and understanding, knowing she values their insight. She occupies the middle space between innocence and wisdom, holding both within her awareness. This connection reminds her that life is circular, not linear, and that every stage holds beauty and meaning. 9. A natural spiritual orientation. For the old soul woman, spirituality is not a religion or a belief system. It's a natural state of being. Her connection to the invisible world doesn't arise from fear or dogma, but from direct experience. She finds truth in many traditions: Christian mysticism, Buddhist meditation, indigenous wisdom, Jungian psychology, and weaves them into her own living spirituality. She believes that truth cannot be confined to one book or practice. For her, spirituality means awareness, seeing the sacred in everyday life. She finds joy in simplicity, a meal shared with love, the beauty of nature, or the silence between thoughts. Every experience becomes an opportunity for growth and gratitude. 10. Eyes that reflect depth and knowing. People often notice her eyes first. They carry a depth that can be unsettling to some and comforting to others. When you look into them, you feel seen, not the surface you present to the world, but your true self beneath it. Jung believed that the eyes mirror the self, the eternal consciousness that transcends ego. The old soul woman's gaze reflects this inner integration. Her eyes reveal both the light and shadow she has embraced within herself. This balance gives her compassion and authenticity. When two old souls meet, their eyes recognize each other instantly. No words are needed. It's a silent acknowledgement that they are not alone in seeing the world as they do. 11. Powerful intuition. Her intuition is one of her most defining gifts. She senses truth beyond logic, often knowing things she can't explain. This isn't superstition. It's the psyche's deep intelligence, what Jung described as the intuitive function. She can sense when someone is lying, when a situation feels wrong, or when it's time to change direction. Her intuition acts like an inner compass, guiding her growth and decisions. In a world that worships logic, her knowing is often misunderstood. People may call her impractical or overly emotional, but she has learned that ignoring her intuition always leads to regret. Each time she betrays that quiet inner voice, she pays a price. Now she trusts it, no matter what others think. 12. Profound understanding of human nature. Perhaps the most remarkable quality of the old soul woman is her ability to see through appearances. Having faced her own shadows, she easily recognizes the unconscious patterns, fears, and defenses in others. She sees beyond masks and social performance into the truth beneath. This perception protects her from manipulation, but it also isolates her. When you see too deeply, small talk and pretense become exhausting. She longs for authenticity, but finds it rare. Still, her insight makes her compassionate, not judgmental. She understands that every human being is shaped by wounds and longings they may not even recognize. She sees the frightened child behind arrogance, the sadness behind cruelty, and the yearning behind indifference. Her vision is both a gift and a responsibility, because once you see, you cannot unsee. The path of responsibility and grace. Recognizing oneself as an old soul is not a badge of superiority. It's an invitation to responsibility. Jung reminded us that true individuation means living with awareness, integrity, and humility. The woman with an old soul cannot return to unconsciousness. She knows too much, feels too deeply, and sees too clearly. Her task is to live her truth even when the world misunderstands or undervalues it. She learns to walk with quiet dignity, rooted in her inner knowing rather than external validation. Her worth is intrinsic, woven into her being, not dependent on approval or success. She knows that wisdom is not about having answers, but embracing life's endless mystery. Each insight reveals new questions, and each ending becomes another beginning. In a society obsessed with speed, youth, and surface achievement, the old soul woman reminds us of timeless truths, that stillness has power, that empathy is strength, and that meaning matters more than material. Her life itself becomes a message, a living poem of consciousness, depth, and quiet grace. Conclusion: the light within the depth. If you recognize yourself in these words, perhaps you too are an old soul. Maybe you've always felt different, drawn to silence, authenticity, and truth in a world that values noise and imitation. This recognition isn't the end of your journey. It's the beginning of a more conscious one. The old soul woman walks through life carrying the wisdom of ages, not to stand above others, but to help heal and guide. Her presence reminds humanity of what we've forgotten, that the soul is eternal, that love is the deepest truth, and that inner peace is found not in escape from life, but in full awareness of it. In Jung's words, the journey towards self-realization is both solitary and sacred. The woman with an old soul walks this path with grace, her eyes reflecting the mystery of eternity, her heart tuned to the music of the collective soul, her being a living bridge between the seen and unseen.